All right, we got episode 2 on the way. We're doing a 32 commentator bracket. We're just going to roll right into it with round 1, which is Tom Phillips versus Booker T. Now,
Okay,
go ahead.
so when T, are we talking about current Booker T's NXT run, previously, like back in the day, or all in total?
I'd say any Booker, totality.
I'm gonna vote Booker then, because Shucky Ducky Quack Quack is popular, and that's catchy as shit.
Okay. What you got? What you got, Mikey?
I got Booker.
All right. What you got, Cam?
It's got to be Booker. I mean, Tom Phillips had some dope-ass calls. He's an amazing announcer, top of his game. I understand, but, like, he is not Booker T. Booker T gives us more moments in a single NXT than Tom Phillips has ever had.
I mean, look
Tom Phillips has some great moments, great calls, but it's not anything that's going to transcend. Booker T, he goes viral.
That's because he says stupid shit.
No.
I tell you what, you would not put Booker T on the call for Cody versus Roman. You would put Tom Phillips.
On Booker, you would.
No, because you're going to say some stupid shit like, oh, Cody beating the white off his meat.
Yeah, but you like Jerry Lawler.
Jerry didn't say that crazy shit in main events.
No, Jerry
in main events? In main events.
Jerry would just say that Sheamus needed to put a mask on because he.
In main events?
Yes.
He would turn it on. No! He would turn.
Listen. No. Jerry would have actual calls, but for every actual call, there was 3 moments.
Where's Booker T's actual calls? He has 1 actual call for every 9 jokes.
Okay, but even though Booker T got jokes and all that good stuff.
Also, go ahead.
Tom Phillips is always the middle. So with Tom Phillips being the middle, he never was able to step out of that.
Impact, he's the lead guy, and he's killing it. 100%, 100%. If Tom Phillips took Kevin Patrick's job, he'd be top 5 right now.
I'd like to see Tom Phillips on NXT instead of. I like Big Joseph.
I want Tom Phillips on SmackDown. Back on SmackDown.
I'll say that.
What's that?
Tom Phillips was good on SmackDown, and I think he gave more respect to the smaller stars. Like, when it came to cruiserweights and little guys, he never mentioned the difference between people.
Cam knows better than anybody. I was the biggest Tom Phillips fan in the world. I was putting this man over back when he was on SmackDown because I was like, dude, he has an emphasis in his voice, and it gets like, it's like Michael Cole a little bit, but it's also like, kind of like JR had when he would scream, or now I mean scream, but like when he would yell words, it had emphasis. You could feel the emotion. And also, I'm gonna say this about Booker T. Y'all talking about commentating, doing this, ain't commentating, and he does that 90% of the time.
No.
Okay.
When somebody hits a hard ass move,
it's good. I'm not hating.
It is so fire.
I'm not hating. It's good, but I'm just saying that's not commentating. Anybody can go on the mic and go, I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about?
It's just great. Like, I love Booker because somebody can get capped, and you hear Booker.
Now,
you hear Booker. He just got knocked out.
2017 Booker, I will put up there with anybody. Yeah. Put it 20.
That era Booker. I even like 2011 Booker. I like that era Booker too. Like, I just think overall he's better.
I think, but here's my thing. Booker, and this is why I think this is a great argument. I don't think any of y'all can disagree. Booker can't be a lead man. He can only be color. Only. While Tom can be any position.
Because he used to be in the ring. Think about it. There's never been a lead guy that's been in the ring. They know too much. They can't do play-by-play. It's too much for them.
I can't. Nothing I can think of, but I feel like there has to be an example.
With whatever center guy, maybe Gorilla Monsoon might have been the only guy in the center who's been in the ring before. Maybe.
I got you. Okay.
Technically, Vince was in the ring.
Brian
Vince
Knobbs
does not count. Vince owns the whole damn thing.
That's true. Yeah, Vince doesn't count.
But you hold on. Your whole reason for the wrestler is they know too much. Vince knows everything.
But Vince owns the company.
I understand, but he knows everything. That was your reason.
Well, let me supply.
We'll
my
get to
example.
Vince later. Let's stay on topic.
Brian Knobs, Hulk Hogan's Championship Wrestling. I know it was a reality show, but there were actual matches. Brian Knobs was on commentary, okay, as well as I think Bubba the Love Sponge. And it was a train wreck, and people were getting called heel, face. They were using insider terms.
You don't do that.
Yeah. So, kind of point there.
But that doesn't. I think that's just inexperience, not because they're a wrestler.
Yeah. No.
By the way, I want to disagree. JBL could be a lead commentator.
I'm a devil's advocate as well, because honestly, Larry Zbyszko was a great wrestler and a fantastic commentator. So,
also wrestler. Are we put managers in there? Because Bobby was a manager, which is about as big as a wrestler in my opinion. And
yeah.
And JBL was great too.
He would give good wrestling credit, even if it weren't his guys. He still would give him credit.
But I'll concede to Booker T to save time because I won't win that war. I know, but I'm just saying Tom Phillips I think is the better commentator. But
I can offer a piece of reason behind it. I think Tom Phillips and Booker are so different that you have to look past just the statistical what makes somebody great.
I think we did a good job of that.
Because I think that's where the argument lies. Because it's not just, their cadence, their calling, their play-by-play, their maneuverability.
Their versatility was my argument.
Exactly.
I don't think Booker could do anything besides color.
But the thing is, Booker does it so well and so stylistically to where I think he does.
Williams.
I think he's just funny. I think he's just a funny.
There have been matches I've went in and thought,
also,
this is gonna be a stinker.
Also, 100%, he ain't a wrestler and ain't as over as he is. He's not going to be as popular because I'm borderline say he could probably, if he's not a beloved wrestler first, he's going to get annoying because they're like, okay, who's this non-wrestler making all these fucking jokes, making a mockery of our sport? But because he's Booker T, he can do that, which is a credit to him. But it also, you have to think about it.
One thing, you want to know what Booker T has over Tom Phillips that Tom Phillips can never ever replicate?
What's that?
Black snow.
I don't think anybody wants black snow.
Everyone wants black snow.
Ah, man, I don't know.
Black snow's awesome, man.
Oh, man, all right. I'll concede to it. Can I? So how do I pick him? Oh shit.
Mikey's input was just Booker T.
So how do I pick him?
I don't know much about Tom Phillips.
That's fair.
He's currently on Impact Wrestling, doing actually a damn good job.
He is doing a good job. How the hell do I pick Tom?
It's hard to watch TNA because you gotta jump through hoops to get Access TV.
I ain't watched TNA since what's his name? Samoa Joe was there.
Mikey, what the hell?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah,
he done been all the way to AEW and then lost his career.
All right, fuck it. I'll just visually do it. Next is David Otunga versus JBL. I put David Otunga on here because David Otunga actually did a really good job.
He did.
But he ain't no JBL. JBL, top 5 commentators all time for me.
JBL was mean as hell in the best way, and I liked it.
JBL was Bobby Heenan turned up to 11. But JBL was Bobby Heenan if he was a straight up just asshole. Which basically, because Bobby was like, Bobby was more of a dick, while JBL was just an asshole.
Now, I will say the thing I didn't like about David Otunga is outside of the commentary booth, he was a heel, but all of a sudden when he sat down, he was all prim and
that happens
and clear. And I was like, and then they used to talk about how he's a lawyer. I just didn't like how I felt like he was too busy trying to get himself over as opposed to talking about what's getting in the ring.
To be fair, he took a long break between when he last wrestled and commentary.
But he was still, that's the thing. But when you just look at him as a commentator there, he did really good.
Yeah, especially with the expectations. They were.
Yeah, They were like, why the hell is David Otunga here?
Dude did awesome.
And then he was better than Byron.
Yes.
Byron's not horrible. He's just very mid.
I mean, there's a broom better than Byron. Come on, man.
Yeah, literally. You could pick any fan out of the crowd, put him on commentator, to probably do better.
Leaving him off was mean enough. We ain't got to dog him.
I got a lot of respect for Byron Saxton.
He's a great backstage analyst, dude.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yes, he's great and creative. He's great as a producer. Like Byron Saxton is great on everything except when he opens his mouth.
Mm.
And his finisher sucked.
It did,
Yeah.
yes.
And NXT, and he has look up Byron Saxton finisher on YouTube, and it'll tell you everything you need to know.
So just to be, none of us are picking David Otunga, unfortunately.
No one's.
But we will give you your flowers, David. You were awesome. I hate that they got rid of you.
And
no, David Otunga was great. I think he would be perfect for NXT now.
I do too.
He was real good for NXT. Or like if there was somebody who started doing the translation like on New Japan, like they need new people for that, I think he'd be good for that because he's very educated about the in-ring experience.
Yes.
But he knows how to communicate that. So that's what I liked about David Otunga is he knew how to not break that wall. You know what I mean? Like he didn't use a lot of insider terms even though he was in the ring. So I liked that.
I agree. All right, next this is going to be tough. Gorilla Monsoon versus Taz. Now, I know most of us, I feel like, are going to want to put Taz, and rightfully so. But Gorilla Monsoon, you don't have the iconic Andre and Hogan quote without Monsoon.
Yep.
Mikey, what you think?
Man.
I don't even know if Mikey knows who Gorilla Monsoon is.
He does.
He does?
Sure he does.
Do you?
That's you said Andre versus he's
Hogan.
The irresistible force field versus the immovable object. Yes. By the way, top 3 greatest. I might even be the greatest call in wrestling. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You follow that up with he beat Andre with this move at WrestleMania 18 with Jim Ross. That's like right there with it, in my opinion. But,
which, by the way, was a follow-up to that match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still gonna have to go Taz though.
Oh, all right, it's tough. I don't want to disrespect Gorilla because Gorilla is. I'll say this. I'm going to make this, and I feel like a lot of us are unsure, so I'm going to maybe make an argument to maybe, for both sides, maybe try and sway one or the other. Taz, if he is, without Taz, we still got Michael, right? That's just the facts. Without Gorilla, you don't have that iconic Gorilla-Bobby relationship.
I got something for that.
Go ahead.
I was literally about to bring up whenever you brought up Bobby Heenan with JBL. The thing about Bobby Heenan, he was a great commentator, great everything he ever did. But the thing about Bobby Heenan is when you take him outside of him and Gorilla, or when he was shitting on Eric Bischoff, if you take him out of any of that, he's good, obviously, because he's Bobby Heenan, but it takes him down a couple notches, in my opinion.
Well, it's just like saying...
That's why, because Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon were like 2 sparks to a flame. Like
of course.
They meshed. But also, the thing is, Gorilla Monsoon was always like on 10. It's just he was complimented by Bobby.
I'm gonna bring up that argument later. You use, I will use it later.
Yeah,
But because I could, go ahead.
When you take Taz away from his dynamic with Cole, because Cole wasn't that good back then, but
He's still good. I disagree. I think he was really good.
Taz and Cole was a dynamic duo, and you look, Taz and TNA was fun for the first little bit, but he checked out mentally and got to the point where he genuinely was mumbling at times. Yeah. And people don't remember that. But if you go back and watch for like a 5-year span of him in TNA still, he didn't care. He was genuinely checked out.
Yeah, that had me rolling.
Yeah. But still, he's been in 3 different companies commentating, and he's been great every time. Like he hasn't
really done anything above that glass ceiling in 2 of those. AEW, he's very mid on commentary.
I disagree.
He just has a good voice, a very recognizable Taz voice.
He is hilarious. He'd be saying some wild ass shit. But you're wild. Well, he don't really say it on Dynamite. He mainly says it on, Rampage and shit. Yeah, oh my God, he'd be fucking killing me.
I mean, anyone's.
Botchamania has a whole Taz section.
Yeah.
You said what?
Botchamania has a whole Taz section of the videos they do. It's just of Taz saying funny shit. So if y'all want to give Booker his flowers for being funny, I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah.
And
It's
Taz ain't
probably
even trying.
tiebreaker on
Here's the
this
thing:
one.
Booker is trying, while Taz is just saying some shit. That's just wild.
But also, you put Booker with anyone, he's funny. Taz doesn't work well with everyone.
Who did you put him with that he didn't work well? Him and Jim Ross did good.
I don't mind him and Excalibur. Him and Jim Ross are okay. I don't really get the dynamic there. Him and Michael Cole are awesome. I mean, you put him and Mike Tenay together, they worked pretty well. But again, Taz didn't really try during that period, so it's hard to judge.
And he was still good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because of his voice, really.
He's got, but that's to be fair, he's got one of the best voices in commentating history.
What I'm hearing is that everybody likes Taz when he's in a duo, but as soon as you put Taz at a 3-man desk, he falls off. That's what I'm hearing.
To be fair, there isn't a lot of people who. There's always going to be that one person that falls off at the 3-man desk. Byron was the man that fell off at the 3-man desk.
Sounds like Gorilla Monsoon's our guy then.
Gorilla Monsoon never became a sidekick to anybody.
He was always a lead, though.
Always the guy. He had a voice just like Taz, and he always demanded not only our eyes but our ears.
Yeah,
that's the thing. When you go back and watch that, he's like the shining glory of that time
period
almost.
I love Gorilla. I love Gorilla, man.
Gorilla Monsoon was a center guy because he was play-by-play and he was in the ring. So I have to take back what I said.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
He was actually a beast in the ring too. He was beating the.
To be fair, he was also part of a different time, so it's kind of hard to, like, the stuff he was commentating was way different than the stuff he was doing. Is what I'm saying.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
Very different.
He was in the ring. That was okay stuff. It wasn't bad. It's just very different than what we see now. Very different.
Next, so we all got Gorilla, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I think Mikey picked Taz. Sorry, Mikey. That was a tough one. Like, it hurts that we left Taz for me.
Yeah,
I'll agree.
Nostalgia makes me want to say Taz just because of the funny calls, like him making fun of Michael Cole for getting R-worded by Heidenreich.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Taz wouldn't give a fuck. He would say some of the dude. When women were out there, Taz killed me. Taz killed me.
My favorite Taz time was when like right after the Michael Cole Heidenreich thing, Heidenreich would be coming out, and Michael Cole would be spazzing out, and Taz would be like, "What's wrong, Cole? It's just Heidenreich. What's wrong, Cole?" It was awesome. It was great.
I told Cam this was WrestleMania 20 call because they were doing the women's Playboy tag team match or whatever. It was the evening gown match, I think, actually. And they're saying some of the wildest shit. And then Michael Cole's like, "Ow!" He goes, "You jabbed me with your pencil." He goes, "That wasn't my pencil." I was like, "What?" And then after that, they both wheezed for like that's why I hate that he's already gone, because against anybody else, he's moving on. But tough. But here we go. Next one, Matt Striker versus Don Callis. I put Don Callis here because, man, those Japan calls and the Impact calls were just so really good. But go ahead. Yeah. Matt Striker with Lucha Underground. Matt Striker's got a great voice.
Let me go out on a limb with this one. So, Matt Striker is he was the voice of a dead company now, a dead show. And without him, I don't think that show would have been as amazing as what it was. He legitimized, he legitimized Lucha Underground. If it was not for him on commentary, it'd have been shit. Vampiro was a character. I was never been a fan of Vampiro of any sort of commentating that he does, because he was always a character.
Yeah.
So Matt Striker carried that whole show and as a voice and put the stories over and did the play-by-play and was doing color and supporting Vampiro. So I think just alone for holding up Lucha Underground, Matt Striker should get credit.
Yes.
And then also the reason ECW succeeded, if you think about it. Like, his voice alone has led credibility to make shitty shows better than what they are. Not saying Lucha Underground was shitty, because they did give us pretty much everybody we see now, from Ricochet to Chelsea Green. But Matt Striker, I think, deserves more credit. Don Callis, though, Rest in peace. I mean, you got a point because he, once again, same thing for Impact Wrestling and TNA. He made
Rest in peace. My boy ain't dead.
Don Callis is alive.
Yeah. Wait, that's Don West that passed away.
Don West is the one that passed away, but honestly, valid commentator too.
Yeah. Oh, he's on the list. We'll get to him.
Well,
Who's he
people
facing?
have tried to kill Don Callis, haven't they? So
I'm gonna say this for Matt Striker's run in WWE and we weren't ready for him. We weren't. He was he was ahead of his time. If he showed up in 20, I would say 19, 18, 20. Even now, I'm talking about like from then on. Like,
yeah,
he did what Pat McAfee's doing now, in my opinion.
Imagine Matt Striker on NXT.
I know.
Yeah.
Doesn't he do MLW right now?
Yes, and he got into some hot water about Matt Riddle.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck Matt Riddle.
Basically, Matt Striker said, "I don't care what he did or what kind of person he is. How do you not sign him to your company? He's too good. Like, I don't care what he did."
I understand what he's going for.
I'm all for putting people over and putting your champ over, but like, damn.
I'm saying that about Brock when he comes back.
That's crazy.
Hey, all right. So, but who do we have here? Who do y'all got?
Striker.
I got Striker too.
Striker.
Damn. Sorry, Don. Don's good though. Also, I'm just gonna say this: all those iconic Kenny matches. But
Still not Matt Striker.
Yeah. All right, this next one. I did not see this. That's why this is crazy. Paul Heyman versus Jim Cornette. I did not do that. I did not do that. Oh.
Heyman.
Jim
Go with
Cornette's so
Heyman.
good.
As a commentator,
funny.
Look, Bo. Personal people out the way. They're both shitty people.
No, my issue with Jim Cornette has nothing to do with that he's a shit. I don't think Jim Cornette is all that shitty.
He's really not. A lot of it's hearsay shit.
I think he is just as shitty as Paul Heyman.
But also the thing about Paul Heyman is people will attest that Paul Heyman, aside from like him lying sometimes,
Which is huge.
He's grown like a ton.
Lying is still bad.
And
especially in a wrestling company.
He was a different person back then. You know what I mean?
They're referring to him lying during the ECW days. They're referring to when he was on the ground floor. They were some pretty big lies, don't get me wrong.
To be fair, Kevin Owens said he was lying back in 2019. And AJ too.
Yeah, and AJ Styles wanted to fight him over the OC. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, aside from the lying, like, that's the thing. People say Paul Heyman will be your best friend until money's involved.
Which is bad.
You know, but also you got to think that was back in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Oh, well, look.
Keep in mind, Paul Heyman was about to take over TNA. He told Dixie Carter, "I will work for you for free and control creative for free. And if we turn a profit and we get higher viewership, I get so-and-so stake of the company." Dixie Carter said no.
Look, all I'm saying is this. These two, compared to everybody else on the list, are not good people. It's besides Vince. Vince is the devil.
Vince is all the way over there. They're right here.
I know. All right, but let's get that aside. Commentator, because if you're gonna say Paul Heyman, he did not have a long run, so that accounts.
Yep. I think Cornette. Paul Heyman was amazing. Him and JR was fucking awesome.
It was.
And it's insane that arguably the greatest WrestleMania of all time happened in that short time period Jerry was gone. But as great as Paul was, he didn't get on commentary very often. Past that or even before that.
He had a GOAT run.
Yeah.
He had a GOAT run.
So he had a great little run, but also Jim Cornette was on it much longer for different promotions, and he is a personality from hell.
He is.
He's not the greatest.
That's his problem, though.
That is his problem. That's what got him fired from NWA.
What happened?
Because he's a personality to a fault. Because I don't think he has a filter.
He I'll give you that. I will give you everything that you said. But if we put personality aside, the things Jim Cornette has said on television, on his rants, is the reason why I cannot, because he's great. But when he starts ranting on people, some of his insults that he has thrown at people are strictly personal, and they've been on TV and they are repeated. And that is my thing, is he may claim to be a character and all that good stuff, but Jim Cornette has put his foot in his mouth with so much commentating, and not even the NWA thing. As far as him being a commentator, I didn't like him. Now, when you talk about Jim Cornette as a manager, all day long. Love fucking Jim.
That would be a
Cornette
great manager debate, but I think Paul Heyman still clears.
I mean, also, Paul Heyman would have him, and it's crazy, but it's also insane because like
manager bracket would be wild.
Cornette was on the first episode of SmackDown, and also he did like almost the entirety of that first big run of OVW when WWE took it over. But at the same time, Paul Heyman is Paul Heyman.
Yeah, so, I'll say this about Jim Cornette. Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody should vote Paul Heyman if we were doing managers. But I think as a strictly commentator, just because Paul Heyman only did for so short of amount of time, I got to go Cornette. Just because of it. But
here's the thing with Jim. His early WWF days all the way to the beginning of the Attitude Era. Beginning in the early WWF, he was fine. He did good, and because that was like that was the what's the word I'm looking for? That was the layout. That's how everything else was. When they moved to Attitude, he did not move with them. He was still a corny, and I don't mean that in a bad way, hokey commentator. Yeah. You know,
who's easier to listen to?
This is also true. While Paul Heyman was he didn't, now like to Cam's point, he didn't stay around long enough to get annoying. But you can't say that's his fault.
That's the main thing about Cornette is I agree with you because I feel like in the Attitude Era it didn't really fit.
I don't think he could be edgy. I don't think he can tell a edgy story. I don't think he can.
Because he never really had an edgy character. The most quote unquote edgy things you could even argue was, literally not. He was a very like hokey motherfucker. And it's just can't get past that.
Like,
but OVW. His commentary was great on OVW.
Yes.
His commentary was great pretty much everywhere else but the Attitude Era. That didn't fit him.
Exactly. I think I don't think he can do intense stuff. Like, look, Austin and Triple H, he can't do it. He can't. Yeah. He doesn't have a chance. And for that, for versatility for me, I'm going to go Paul.
You just swung me because I could see Paul Heyman doing something like that. But at the same time, I can't see Paul Heyman doing like something more old-fashioned.
Oh, I definitely could.
Listen, but we're moved past that anyways.
Whoa, I disagree. ECW invaded, remember? And he did do commentary during the Hokey days, and it was awesome. It was very entertaining. Yes, he was putting over ECW talent, but he did show that he could do hokey stuff.
Yeah. Wasn't he doing commentating on ECW though a little bit?
I cannot confirm or deny. I don't remember.
Not really much. He was mostly
not enough to be noted.
Manager guy that occasionally
showed up. The intro sometimes. I think that's what I'm thinking about.
Yes. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go, Paul.
Yeah, I have to go, Paul.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Paul. You swung me.
Triple H now in the Hall of Fame, and Jim Cornette is not.
It's a great point. I mean, because Triple H and Hunter just sitting there, or Hunter and Austin just fucking want to kill each other. You got Jim going, they're about to tear each other apart. I'm gonna.
Yeah, the thing that brings Jim Cornette backwards is literally that he's stuck in a specific format.
Yes.
Paul Heyman's not.
Yes.
So there you go.
All right.
This next one's gonna be good.
Pat McAfee versus Don West. Oh, me. Look.
Mikey, go ahead and vote McAfee. You're good.
Oh.
I love Don. I'm staying for his sake because he doesn't know Don West.
Yeah.
And I know Mikey's tastes and he loves McAfee, so I would assume he's McAfee with.
Oh my God. Oh, I hate to do this, but I'm going Pat.
Hey, nostalgia, throw it out.
I'm going Pat. Pat brings more. Pat is more unique and brings. I don't want to say he brings more to the table, but he is. You don't find a lot of people who have what Pat has.
Mikey said
I
something.
agree.
What you got, Mikey?
I said, see, I don't know much about the other dude, but Pat McAfee is just fun. Like he brings so much life to
Energy.
the shows and everything.
Yeah,
I will.
yeah.
Yeah. But I do want to give Don West his flowers here. You talk about energy, man. Yeah. Those early TNA days, there was hardly anybody who had energy like him. While Mike Tenay had the play-by-play good call energy, Don West was the energy. No freaking way! That oh my God.
Yeah, Don West doesn't really. Yeah, I love Don West.
But past that, there's
but you gotta think though. You couldn't really plug mainstream company wise Don West into WWE or even, maybe AEW, but I think honestly I'd say if you throw Pat McAfee in a time machine, put him with Mike Tenay, I think it would still be great commentary.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
What McAfee actually talk about when it comes to what's going on in the ring and wrestling? Let me just ask that. I'm not voting either way. I'm just asking.
I think he does. Yeah. I think he mixes it.
Rip Rogers.
I think he mixes it in because he knows what his job. He's not paid to sit there and break down every move. He's paid to emphasize the moves, which is what he does.
He's paid to be here's what I like about Pat McAfee. Like what Mikey was saying with the energy. They have literally paid that man to be a fan like us.
Yes.
The fucking mic for commentary, and that's what I like, because I would definitely be up there when Shinsuke Nakamura would come out there. My ass would be up there too. So I'd live through Pat McAfee.
The fact
that's what I
yes, which that is such a hard thing to do on paper is to let's bring a fan to the commentary desk. That is incredible. Yes, they tried it with so many different people. Oh my God, Mike Adamle, bro. But Pat, not only did he do great, but he excelled. And pandemic is when he started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No crowd to work with.
He's a fan. He's an athlete. He's a celebrity. And he's trained.
He's a sports icon, too.
Exactly.
Let's not forget about that feud that he had with Adam Cole. That was great.
Yes. But that doesn't contribute to his commentator. But yes.
I'm not going to lie. I was upset at the time.
I was too.
I swear that's when he got mad. I promise you.
To be fair, the only reason I got pissed during the Adam Cole-Pat McAfee feud was because it was rumored that Adam Cole was about to dip. And I thought that was about to be his last feud.
Yeah.
See, here's my thing. I think Vince got mad because Hunter put something that was the developmental brand, took a build that Vince did back when you had Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow. He took a WrestleMania build and put it on a show during the pandemic and did it way better. And I think that's when Vince got pissed. I'm sorry.
LT didn't do bad, though. To be fair. LT, Lawrence Taylor, he didn't do bad, though, to be fair.
Oh, no. But to be fair, different game back then. Different game.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, the whole show itself was...
That show sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the main event of the show. I feel like, wasn't that the year? Oh, damn, what match was that?
How do you put King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania in 1995 against The Undertaker?
You know what else sucked? Shawn versus Diesel, which about every other time they connected was beautiful. That match sucked.
Well, that was before Shawn Michaels was who he was, and Diesel was still.
Yeah, I think Shawn was pissed that he was losing because I don't know if y'all seen how he took the jackknife that night, but it was awful.
Yeah, didn't he sandbag him?
No, he didn't sandbag him. When he threw him down, Shawn landed on his ass.
Oh yeah.
But
well, I mean, that's kind of the thing is WWE has been notorious for doing one match and it comes off bad, and then they do it again in so much of a dramatic fashion that we forget that they've done this before and it's terrible.
Yeah. So we all agree, right?
Yes.
All right. Oof. Yeah. Here we go. This is Joey Styles versus Kevin Kelly. I'm going Kevin Kelly.
For New Japan reasons only, I'm gonna go Kevin Kelly because he has taken New Japan and brought it to America and made it more popular. Joey Styles,
is he still on Collision?
Yeah. Say what?
I haven't watched Collision in a minute. Is he still on Collision?
No, he got taken off Collision and fired. He had beef with somebody. I forgot who it was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Kevin Kelly had beef with somebody?
Yeah.
Nah, somebody had beef with Kevin.
No, like he went on Twitter and was like ranting about some other employee, and Tony said, "Get the fuck out."
He gonna go back to Japan then, bitch.
Yeah. So
Kevin, and not only that, Kevin Kelly's stuff in the early WWF days was not terrible either.
it's only one thing that you have to really talk about in this to know for a fact Kevin Kelly's got it. Joey Styles is good in one niche.
Yeah.
You put Joey Styles in any other wrestling niche or time period,
well,
it wouldn't really work.
I think
Joey Styles.
Did you say Kevin Kelly was, or did you say Joey Styles was
matches? Sure, but he wouldn't work in WWE.
To be fair, Joey Styles in 2005 was not bad at all. I liked it.
Yeah, but he kind of had Taz syndrome, just not as bad because like Taz in Impact was so checked out. Joey Styles was getting there, but wasn't there yet. But the issue with Joey Styles is, and I know this is Vince's fault, not his, but he was a kiss ass during that whole time, kissing WWE, Vince, and everything that they did ass the entire time. And it was nothing but a just kiss ass fest.
I will say this. Joey Styles has more. He's called more iconic moments than Kevin. I mean, oh my God, is he great? He is one of the greatest commentary catchphrases of all time.
Kenny Omega versus Okada.
He did, but there's not really a call that's iconic. It's just,
What does Joey Styles have?
Oh my God! I mean, that's what he's got.
Against Booker T and said Booker T was too one note. You take out that one catchphrase. What is Joey Styles?
Joey Styles has knowledge. He has a lot. I'm not picking Joey Styles. I'm saying he's still good.
I think Joey Styles was amazing in those opening video packages for ECW.
Yeah.
When he was standing in front of the backdrop talking, he was great.
We've all agreed a lot more than I thought we were.
Whoever we put through on this bracket, on this particular one, great. It doesn't matter because they're up against Pat McAfee, so they're gonna fucking lose anyway.
I don't know about it. Well, we'll see what happens. So we all got Kevin Kelly right there.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Kevin Kelly. Just strictly for me because
Mikey was kind of zoned. He was kind of out of that one.
Yeah.
He doesn't really know either.
Excalibur versus Bobby Heenan. I love Excalibur, but he doesn't stand a chance.
No, Bobby Heenan, one of the GOATs.
Yeah, Excalibur is only really great and stands out whenever he's reading off the prompter for what matches.
Oh, come on, Cam. That's a little harsh.
No, I'm just saying Excalibur is he's very generic. He has a good voice, but he's so generic. And also, in PWG, he said the N-word with the ER multiple times.
Yes, the best commentator. Never mind. I want him winning the bracket. I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna tell Colby, she right here.
Hey, you better quit. No, but look, to say he's generic, I wouldn't agree. I feel like because I'm a whole. You know how I love about the emphasis and yelling of emphasis of words. He is really good at that. He is really. Every time I hear Excalibur, I hear him screaming Crossroads, and it's amazing.
Yes, but other people do that, and they do it better.
Who?
So here's
in AEW, who?
If AEW didn't exist, we would not be talking about Excalibur.
Exactly.
That's not true.
That is true.
No, because we just wouldn't know his name. We'd say, who's that dude who does PWG?
I don't think PWG's really popping.
Not anymore.
Look.
That's what I'm saying.
By the way, when he dipped, what happened?
PWG was what was in the ring. You could watch PWG on mute. You could watch PWG on YouTube with just a crowd. You could watch PWG because somebody recorded it on their phone. Like, he did not bring anything extra to that show.
Hey, y'all being a little harsh.
Okay, who is
No, I
Excalibur best friends with, and which clique is he part of?
It doesn't take away from
No,
his
no, no, no,
commentary.
I'm not done.
Yes, it is.
Where did
Excalibur only
where
has a
did that
job because he works at AEW.
I
yeah, where
disagree.
did that
He'd be working
clique-
somewhere
where did
else.
where did that clique not really originate, but it kind of evolved?
Okay.
PWG.
Okay.
Okay, when did Excalibur leave? The same time as the Young Bucks.
Okay, how about this? I'll throw this argument. If AEW closed its doors tomorrow, you're telling me he wouldn't find a job somewhere very high up?
No.
You're full of shit, man.
Maybe in MLW, but MLW isn't high up. Where else is he going to go? Impact?
Yes, 100% they're taking him. All right, y'all crazy. I'm going Bobby Heenan, obviously, and I'll save all my Bobby Heenan hints for when we actually have to use an argument. I'm just look when we know somebody's gonna lose, let's just talk good about him. We'll move on. But like y'all, just come on. Excalibur is genuinely fun.
Excalibur. Let me say, I'm not saying that Excalibur is a bad.
By the way, his knowledge is unparalleled. It's unparalleled, especially with Tony and Jim and Taz, who don't really know all these other moves. They'll get them wrong a lot.
Yes.
And Excalibur's right there to correct them.
I mean, he's the indie mark of the group. That's it.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with it. I'm not using it in a derogatory way. I'm just saying, like, sure. I mean, he's literally put there to fill in the gap, and that's fine.
And he does it amazing.
Yes, but at the same time, you put him in a company that doesn't strictly go towards indie fans and marks.
I disagree.
If he does, and that's fine.
If he's in the WWE, he does good.
But you put him in Impact, he'll be great. He'll be fine. But at the same time, Impact doesn't need him. No one needs Excalibur.
Well, no. But I could argue that with a bunch of people we argued. NXT don't need Booker T. Nobody needs Booker T.
There's a lot of people on this list that we could be like, yeah, they could pick them up first. You know what I mean?
Of course. I'd pick up Excalibur over Booker T every day.
You can have it.
You know why? And I'm going to let you say it again. Because wrestling's funny moments are always great. But what the stuff that makes the big bucks, the stuff that makes the money, is the Cody Romans. You're putting Excalibur in those moments. He will sell. He could tell a story just as good as anybody.
I'm going to tell you, every play-by-play person here, besides maybe Jim Cornette, because he's stuck in his own time, I would take over Excalibur.
You're wild. Okay, we're moving on. Vic Joseph versus Nigel McGuinness.
Excalibur. You almost swayed me.
I'm trying to make a good argument for both.
Well, that's the thing. Excalibur's almost a great announcer.
He got put up against Bobby Heenan. He beaten a lot of these other guys we put. Like
what I will say.
I'm putting Excalibur with Don West.
Excalibur wasn't where Excalibur can be. He sticks out where he's at because he is the most consistent commentator that AEW has had. And he is very knowledgeable, and he's a historian, and he's been on the indies.
Which is very valuable.
Yes, he is valuable and has brought something different to the table. But the only reason that I think he really couldn't go anywhere else is strictly because of the indie thing. And he's one of those people that I think values the indies more than television, which I'm not disagreeing with. I just think that is why in other companies he wouldn't do as well, is because he thinks indies is like what makes a person. And I'm like, okay, but then you look at Obafemi, who is probably never going to be on the indies a day in his life, and I guarantee you he
doesn't even need it.
To be completely fair, without the indies there is no AEW, so I feel like that's why he makes it as important.
No, but that's not what you said, though. I know you're saying that you could pluck him and put him somewhere
I feel like you could. I genuinely feel you could.
Yes, but he'd be losing his niche, and he
I don't think so.
To a niche.
I don't think so.
Just like a Joey Styles. Joey Styles works best in an extreme environment. Joey Styles would work in a lot of environments in AEW, for example, because they're very extreme. But you take Excalibur, you got to strip him a little bit of that indiness when you put him somewhere else. Impact does not cater to indies. They do not. They try to stay as much in the.
Who the hell they cater to? Nobody.
anyway. But you put him there, he's gonna have to strip down a little bit. I mean, that's
Shots
just
fired.
Impact caters to Impact fans.
I like Impact Wrestling.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I'm just saying, how many of us are tuning in every week? All right, then.
At least not their TV channel. But I will say, Impact
you would be tuning in no
ways.
ways.
Best kept secret storylines over the last few years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay, hold on. If Impact would not, the product does not change. Same product. If they were on fucking Fox, you still ain't tuning in every Thursday.
If they had better marketing, if they were on Fox and they had more
I just said the product doesn't change. Nothing. Just the channel. That's just the channel.
Marketing,
I disagree. What do you mean?
American indie channel.
Huh?
Impact is the American indie show. Impact is the American indie show.
Yes, I agree with this.
Never was. ROH was never the American indie show. It's always been Impact.
It wasn't.
Yeah, well.
I'm sorry. ROH has actually been pretty shitty.
Well, yeah. Well, lately.
Athena's reign has been awesome, though.
She's the best thing about that show.
Well, I mean, I don't think. Are we even calling Ring of Honor nowadays Ring of Honor? That's just AEW Dark with a new coat of paint.
Okay. All right.
Even then, AEW Dark was fire sometimes.
When it started. Let's move on, yeah.
Talk about one of the most important commentators, I think, currently right now on television.
Vic Joseph versus Nigel McGuinness. Goodbye, Vic.
Is what you said?
Goodbye, Vic.
That's Michael Cole Jr.
No!
Yes, it is.
He's Michael Cole if he was just a glass of water.
Hey, continue Vic Joseph.
I like Vic Joseph. When have you ever seen a play-by-play commentator put the color commentator in place? How many times Booker T be over there going on?
JR. JR put fucking Jerry in his lace. Dude, I gotta show him the Mania 19 clip.
You do.
Oh, I'll show it to you sometime. I obviously can't show it, get copyrighted. But there's a part in the match because the whole storyline was Booker T's a criminal, and Jerry keeps like repeating that, and then JR gets so mad he almost says GD on broadcast. He goes, "You have ridden it to the damn ground. You've ridden it into the ground." And then at another part in the match, Ric Flair goes up to the top, or no, Booker T goes up top, and Ric Flair tries to get him down. And he punched Rick, and Jerry's like, "Now why'd he punch Ric Flair?" And then JR, top of his lungs, "Ric Flair has no business up there, damn it!" It's the greatest.
Look, we're already putting Jim Ross through. I don't care. Jim Ross is the greatest commentator of all time.
I can't wait for us to get there.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Anyway, Vic, Nigel. I'm going Nigel.
Nigel's better.
Nigel. Okay, look. And when it comes to a commentator, neither one is better than the other. For me, it strictly comes down to how they sound. Nigel's the better voice.
Here's my take. The thing I love about Vic, and this is a big reason why I pushed Booker, is because Booker makes everyone better. Everyone that's on the screen, anyone he's in the booth with, he just has a fun time, and he brings out the best out of them. Vic Joseph, my argument against him, and you defended him against me, because I always told you he was bland. I always told you that he had no personality, and I always told you that he was a Michael Cole clone wannabe. Guess what? Booker T has brought out so much personality out of Vic Joseph to the point Vic Joseph has his own personality and his own style now because of Booker, and it works so well. He's
owned his craft. I'm not going to disagree with that. He's grown.
On another note, Nigel has the better voice. And honestly, Nigel, as much as he was a phenomenal wrestler, one of the greatest in Ring of Honor history, to be honest with you, you have to say that Nigel has had some of the best calls, not only just like a line, but just the sound that he adds to certain matches. Like
Black and Gold NXT, Nigel, man.
AEW, man. Like, he adds to what can be a bad match and brings it up a level, and that's what I appreciate.
NXT Black and Gold Nigel is one of the greatest commentary runs. I'll put it up there with WWF Paul Heyman. Like,
if I'm mistaken, NXT UK when we were getting
Yes, and he was awesome. Yes.
I can watch Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov till this day. I was disappointed about that yesterday because I was like, "Oh, we about to get them."
I love that they did that, and we can get into that after this tournament if we have enough time. But I mean, that can also go with the Jey Uso pop, which I think that's the next episode is just Jey Uso. I mean, it's just such a great topic right now, and everybody feels so different.
No, we should just make it about King of the Ring.
Well, there's so much about Jey. I want to debate this Jey. I really want to get into it.
Be a sub part because he's
like King of the Ring is the sub.
But
King of the Ring is doesn't have a lot of legs. But anyway, so we all so who all we got?
To get back to that. Look at the main event of the show. The King of the Ring main event is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul. They are trying to make King of the Ring something.
Oh boy, yes, and I love that. And I don't know if you saw, but I put out, and I haven't put it out yet. I got a podcast clip where I literally say Triple H is making this the G1 again.
He is.
Yes. So I got Nigel. Yeah, I got
Nigel.
I got Nigel. Mikey, do you have anybody?
I don't know who either one.
Okay, so this one will actually have a 3. So, Bo, who you got?
I think I'm gonna go with Vic Joseph.
Woo, Cam, the tiebreaker.
Nigel.
R.I.P. Vic.
I love Vic. I got to give him flowers, but Vic is pure potential right now, and he is going to be there for a very long time. Yeah. Nigel is there.
Yes.
Nigel's that damn good.
Yes.
I'll give you that.
All right, here we go. Mike Tenay versus Mauro Ranallo. Two very good.
Okay. All personal stuff outside of the ring for both of them has to go out the window.
Oh yeah. I don't even put that into the. I mean, we're talking about how they do. We're talking about the art here.
Yeah. Yes. Well, no, I'm talking about like because Mauro has done UFC.
Oh, and boxing.
And boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't count those. This is purely wrestling commentary.
Yes.
So
yes.
Outside of the wrestling,
it's a different style.
Yes.
You know? Yes. Yes. Even though Mauro is still damn good at all of them.
Yes.
He is.
I'm still going Mike.
Tenay?
You can't go against the professor.
One reason. Give one reason why you're going Mike Tenay over Mauro.
The same thing with Michael Cole. The same thing with JR. He is top 3 greatest play-by-play of all time. He's literally only under JR and Michael Cole. That is it. The dying days of WCW, he was amazing. TNA, you don't have these great TNA calls without him.
Yeah. My take is if TNA was as big as WWE, or if Mike Tenay was in WWE instead of JR, I think Mike Tenay would be in that same conversation.
Yes.
Because Mike Tenay is just that damn good. He had less eyes on him.
The fact that he's not doing anything right now either is crazy.
Because he's older, he's retired.
But he could do something. He's like off the face of the earth.
I love Mauro to death, and I want him to come back. I'm praying he comes back. Because it's a new company now. They're doing different things. I just hope and pray he comes back. But the thing about Mauro is he brings legitimacy to matches. He sounds legit. He sounds like an actual commentator. He has personality, but his main drawback is he leans too heavy on pop culture, and that's what I don't appreciate.
That's what I have.
It started out stylistic. It started out fun. And it started out like as just little things like here and there that just made the commentary more fruitful. But it got to the point where there would be a very, very
so cringy
important moment in a match, and he will compare something to not only a pop culture moment, but a pop culture moment of the time that not only dates the match but dates the entire feud.
Yeah,
because it can be a shining moment of not only a match but a feud, and he'll bring up something from 2017.
1000%. He'll be talking right now. If he's commentating WWE, he'd be saying Drake and Kendrick shit.
Yeah, he would. And that just dates the commentary, and it completely dates the match.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I will say this. If Pat McAfee was doing that stuff, we would like it because of how he delivers it. The way Mauro delivers it doesn't come off good. It's not that he's doing it. It's the way he delivers it.
Was good. It's just pointless.
I don't.
He was such a serious... He brought legitimacy, and he would break that legitimacy in those moments. And the issue is, he didn't have great timing with it. He wouldn't use those a lot in dull moments of matches. He would use them in big moments, big moves. That's why you literally, I swear to God, you take that out of Mauro's equation, he is the perfect commentator to me. But that's such a detractor because that affects his performance and it affects the matches. Mike Tenay is the blueprint all around. He's the blueprint. He is the very foundation of what makes a great commentator.
He's the professor.
And I gotta respect it. I got to. It's hard not to.
He is only not the greatest of all time because of JR and Michael Cole. And that's because they were on the brightest spotlight.
Yes, if Mike Tenay was in any other point in time,
Yep.
if Mike Tenay was in any point in time, if it was between Vic Joseph and Mike Tenay right now, if Mike Tenay was the same age as Vic Joseph, if they started at the same time, it would be a no candle.
He would be Michael Cole's successor, 1000%.
Now, but see, here's my thing. My only thing with Morrow is like you guys were saying. Can you imagine if we had Morrow and Wayne came out at this past WrestleMania? Can you imagine?
Oh boy.
That would have been so
it goes back to the delivery with me. It's not that he is saying it, it's when he says it, it doesn't like when Pat says it, that comes from somebody who I feel like would make that reference. Morrow, it feels forced. Like, oh, he doesn't feel like that kind of person.
Morrow said bad and bougie on NXT. I was like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Like,
Morrow is not the kind of person to make these references.
Yeah, that kind of thing is one of the things JBL bullied him about.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's be real.
Oh yeah.
Because the two things that pushed him out of the company was JBL bullying him.
I get over it.
Vince McMahon being in his ear, being overbearing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
I'm a grown man. You can't bully me. You might. Sorry. You might have to edit that out.
I didn't even hear it, so I still might have to.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Just when you go back, you might have to edit that part out because some people might get offended by that. So I'm sorry.
Oh boy. It's okay. So are we all on the Mike Tenay train?
Yes.
Okay. This next one, I know for a lot of people it would be easy.
I just stubbed my toe. That's all into it.
My boy is walking. That is so unprofessional.
I dropped a candle and I stubbed my toe into it. I'm still in this.
That's so unprofessional. Jim Ross versus Tony Schiavone.
Damn. Can we switch this?
Fuck. I love Tony so much. And I have my issues with JR. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not even talking about like now JR. I'm talking peak JR I got issues with. I cannot watch.
I got issues with JR when he was getting personal on the thing, when he was getting mad at folks. I'm like, you can shut the hell up.
No, I liked when he's getting mad. I hate it. I cannot watch a Stone Cold match with JR on commentary a lot because he's a damn cheerleader. And I hate it so bad. I hate it with commentators or cheerleaders. I said the same thing when Michael Cole was glazing the hell out of Cody Rhodes this whole WrestleMania, and I was like, dude, you got to be unbiased. I know Roman's like the big evil, but like, it's your job. I'm all for people hating somebody. I'm not all for people commentators loving somebody.
I'll give you that. I will give you that. But every commentator has that. Michael Cole had John Cena. Jim Ross had Stone Cold. You know what I mean?
I would argue Jerry Lawler had John Cena for a while until he had his heart attack. Then Michael Cole took over because Jerry Lawler was glazing, my boy.
That's kind of my thing with it too, though, is with Jim Ross. I think he recruited Stone Cold. Michael Cole kind of recruited John Cena. So they're kind of cheering on, like that. They're, like that's their kid.
Well, here's the thing. I think the only people that could cheer on a wrestler are heel commentators. Like Jerry with Kurt Angle is the greatest thing ever. Back in 2000 and 1999 and 2001. Kurt, you okay? Where's Kurt at? That's the greatest shit because he's heel. It works. It doesn't come off cringy. With a face commentator, which the face commentator is supposed to be the best version of a commentator, which is unbiased and professional and only hates on the real heels.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between hating on the heels and loving the faces.
Yeah, but but here's the thing though. Go ahead.
That's agreeing with you, by the way.
I know. But
Jim Ross goes with it. Jim Ross will be with the face and he'll be unbiased. Jim Ross will talk about the heels and be unbiased. Tony Schiavone, on the other hand, the main reason why I would have to pick him over that now is I will bring you to the Britt Baker situation. And as Tony Schiavone, as a commentator, with a new product like AEW can probably confuse the shit out of people.
Yes.
With that Britt Baker situation.
Well,
because
yeah.
she was a heel. But what is this? Like, that's her favorite commentator. He's interviewing her. You know what I mean? Like, Adam Cole.
To be fair, it's not like he was going, when she won the match, he'd go, yes. He would. I don't feel like he was very biased while the match was going. I really don't. I feel like he would only be biased backstage, during her entrance, during a promo, but once the bell rang, I feel like he was very professional and kept it unbiased. While Stone Cold with JR, you go pull up a Stone Cold match, JR's like, whip his ass! Stop my mud hole! God, when I know, understand the circumstances, but him versus Eric Bischoff, JR was literally standing up at his, which was the point, but he was literally standing up saying, cheering him on. I hate when wrestlers, face commentators, cheer wrestlers. I hated it when Michael Cole did it with Cody. I hated it when Jerry would do it with Cena. I hated it when JR did it with. I just can't stand that. You're supposed to be the ultimate good guy. Commentator is the professional one. That's why Mike Tenay and Michael Cole now are like, big babyface commentators. But again, Michael Cole goes down on us because he does cheer sometimes, and I can't stand it.
Is that what I'm hearing? Are you putting Tony Schiavone?
Oh, I'm leaning. Well, I love Tony so much.
Back the other way, though.
What? Okay, go ahead. Explain.
So, because here's the thing, though. Like, granted, Tony Schiavone is great. I'll give you that. He still is. But Jim Ross is more consistent.
I don't know. Go find me a bad Tony Schiavone call. I can find you a bad JR call. Easy. 2007 was riddled with him.
The finger poke of doom.
He didn't do that. And he was, but he didn't, and also he did not know that was going to happen. He reacted in real. No, that was Bash to the Beach. I don't know about the finger poke of doom. He reacts in real time, like he was just sit there with his hand over his mouth, like he was just. Because I remember when the Jeff Jarrett laid down, Tony Schiavone goes, "Oh, this is real life, folks. He's real." Well, JR, at times does not feel real.
JR would have covered it up. JR would have kept the show going.
It would have felt like bullshit if he covered it up.
I mean, bullshit or not, kayfabe is basic.
And like I said, go find me a bad Tony Schiavone call to where, it's not his, where it's actually his fault. While 2000, I understand, and also, Jim Ross had Vince in his ear 24/7.
Yeah, and also that 2007 was a good few years past the point where Vince was already trying to push him out of the company. Keep in mind,
of course,
2005. I forget the UFC commentator. There was a certain one. I think he might still be there. Probably not though. Vince offered him to no-show. He was going to pay him to no-show the next UFC event and jump over to WWE to replace Jim Ross.
Yeah.
And Vince tried nonstop to find a replacement.
Of course.
And it's ridiculous.
He tried to he tried to get Michael Cole to replace him. He tried to get Todd Grisham to replace him. He tried to get I forgot there's somebody else. There's another person, the guy you mentioned, but that he still.
He watered Jim Ross down.
Okay, that's still though. Jim Ross still said these things. We don't know who was in Tony Schiavone's head. He never talks about it. And to be fair, I mean, you put Tony Schiavone in WWE, those moments are still going to be just as good. Okay,
here's the thing. Here's where I gauge it. Not really any of the things you've said really makes him a bad commentator overall, because he's been commentating since the early to mid 80s, and he has always been consistently good since the beginning. And the crazy thing is he had a lot more of a sports-centric sound to him in the beginning. And the crazy part about that is, since he's been doing it so long, just like Tony Schiavone, you have to look at it as their best and their worst. Sure, Jim had a lot more quote-unquote worse lines and calls, but at the same time, Jim Ross at his best, I will argue, it clears Tony's whole career.
I disagree. That's a terrible statement.
Jim Ross has done way more WrestleManias than Tony.
But here's what you. That's not fair. Here's what you guys just said a while ago for somebody else. Consistency. That's not his fault. He wasn't in the company.
He used to be with WWE. He called
For like a
WrestleMania
cup
8.
of coffee, that's not fair.
Huh?
And for a cup of coffee,
He couldn't
I
make
mean,
it.
but also get started.
he was young. Really? How many times did JR get fired? How many times JR get fired? How many times JR get fired?
Listen, he was young, huh? How many years was he commentating before he worked for the WWF?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter
He was
because.
already a seasoned vet, and guess what?
Okay, first of all, he did radio for the longest time. That's not the same.
Listen, he was with the NWA and WCW well before Jim Ross. They brought in Jim Ross. He immediately became Jim Ross's underling. Jim Ross became his boss.
Because
Jim Ross became the voice of WCW.
Because JR has a distinctable voice, while Tony did not, especially at that time.
I think the reason that Shivani became JR underling those because JR is a talent scout, technically.
Well, no. I'm talking about when it came to commentary. He was his boss in commentary.
Y'all continue. I'll be right back.
So it's just that's why I think JR. I don't even think it's even arguable.
So wait, so we're putting JR through or Tony Schiavone?
Well, it's 2 against 1, so yeah, I would assume so.
Wait, so everybody's saying Jim Ross?
Yeah, but Casey's saying Tony, so JR is going over.
Mikey, who you got? Mikey's the tiebreaker on this one.
Mikey, you there? Hello?
Jim Ross it is.
I guess it is. We're just going to say Mikey said Jim Ross.
He'll be
I
back.
don't know. You might have heard that.
I think he'll be back.
I'm so sorry. I have my mic muted.
So then what do you say, Mikey? Jim Ross?
I'm saying Jim Ross because as a casual fan, if you've seen any like highlight like pre like modern,
Yeah.
Jim Ross has some of the most iconic moments ever.
Exactly. You don't see. I mean, you see Tony Schiavone replayed on social media, but nowhere to the extent of Jim Ross.
Like Jim Ross is literally a meme.
Yeah.
Not only a meme, but he's an icon. There's lines that he said that transcends wrestling. That's the greatest part about it.
Sauce is pretty good.
Yeah, and all you gotta say is dog, and even if someone's not a wrestling fan, they're going to understand the reference usually. It's just, it's not comparable.
Say this, though. Tony Schiavone has gotten to see some way more extreme wrestling moments and some bigger wrestling moments than Jim Ross has. But that's just because Tony Schiavone has been so many places.
I actually disagree. Tony, after WCW died, he made one appearance in TNA, non-commentary. He was in ring. But past that, he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. And the thing about
I'm not dead. I am not dead.
I don't think anything Tony did in AEW or WCW moment-wise. I mean, you have some that stack up to JR, but I don't think anything like you don't see many Tony Schiavone calls all over TikTok, all over Instagram, Facebook.
That's fair. But to be fair, again,
Ross is always the one.
But he's unique.
And wrestling. Tony Schiavone is very unique. Just like
not as unique as JR. JR's got. But here's the thing, JR. Okay, all right. Here's my argument, and you can't say this don't count. I don't give a fuck about age. Who's better right now?
I would argue JR at Dynasty was way better.
You're wild. You're wild. He had one. He had what? How many matches he called? How many matches he called? Did he call the whole show? I don't think he did he?
He has cancer.
So, if he can call one show, if he can call one match, he can call them all. It's easy to do one match. No, I'm saying you can't compare somebody who does the full show to one match.
They bring him in for the bigger matches. That's what they do.
I'm comparing his full-time run when AEW started all the way when he stopped doing full-time to Tony in that same time, who was clearly better. Tony.
In my opinion, Jim Ross should have never even been full-time in AEW.
That doesn't take away from who was better at that time.
No, I'm just saying that Jim Ross his health was already taking. it was past his prime.
I get
Not
it.
in the sense that he sounds bad, but his health was hurting him.
Okay.
And that was.
But to be
that
fair,
was
we're not
really
arguing
concerning
who's.
about him being on
I
the
got
show
you,
so much.
but we're not arguing what AEW should have and shouldn't have done. We're arguing who was just better at that time, and it was And I'm sorry, I know he's got all these health problems. That doesn't take away from his voice, which was clearly fine. It's not like Jerry Lawler who can't even speak. I mean, that's just how it is.
The next round.
And by the way, who slipped up more? JR by a country mile.
Yeah,
Tony Khan rarely makes those mistakes.
Tony Schiavone?
Did you say Tony Khan rarely makes mistakes?
I say Khan or Schiavone? Oh, sorry, Schiavone. Sorry.
Khan makes a lot of mistakes. But anyway.
Yeah, he does. Well, all right, we'll move on. I'll concede, but I'm saying Tony Schiavone.
We could have a week-long episodic television show about that.
Jesse Ventura versus Jerry Lawler. Ventura doesn't even stand a chance.
No.
He stands a chance, but he doesn't get it.
No,
I think
he stands just as much of a chance.
Same argument as JR. Jerry's just too legendary. In my
Jerry
opinion.
Lawler is my favorite commentator of all time.
Jerry's got so many iconic moments too.
Absolutely. Jerry was the greatest color commentator in the history of the game. I'm
But
sorry.
Also, Jesse Ventura paved the way for so many.
That's
people.
fine. He may have paved the way, but Jerry Lawler put the blacktop on it.
But see, Jesse Ventura is only from one era. Jesse Ventura was commentated outside of.
Yeah. I don't think Jesse Ventura could do Attitude Era. While Jerry Lawler did all the eras. He did the hokey era. Yes, he did the hokey era. He did the serious era. He did the PG era. And I know, and he was still good PG era. When he started to fall off was around the 2018 times. And that's when
I disagree. He started to fall off well before then.
You're weird, crazy. Disagree.
In the 2010 area, in my opinion.
You're insane.
He had his moments, but I think he was.
Tell me how. Because I remember specifically back in those days that everybody says he was the best part because he was literally Michael Cole's foil, and Michael Cole was so bad that Jerry Lawler had to be extra good to save the ship from Michael Cole.
When he was a horn dog, I loved Jerry Lawler.
Compared to his prime, he was more watered down. He was a lot dumber. And that's what I didn't appreciate.
Only because he wasn't allowed to bring puppies into the microphone anymore.
I could make the same argument about JR. What do you mean? I know, but you didn't take that away. Before, when I made that argument, you said he was still JR. So I'll go, he's still Jerry Lawler.
I did take that away from JR, but then I countered it saying that it didn't take away enough to say that Tony was better. I said it did take away, but it didn't take away enough.
I don't think, but you said he started to fall off, when I said fall off, I meant like dramatically. Like he was still good all the way up to 2015, all the way up to 2015 is when that's when the great, at 2016 on is when he wasn't on it as, when he wasn't on the full-time grind and he was only coming in for special appearances. That's when he fell off because he was out of his niche.
And he stopped watching the product too, which
exactly. So basically my point is, if he kept going, he'd still be just as good. He'd still be just as good as he was in 2015. Maybe not in 99, 2000, 2001.
JR era right now, where JR keeps up with the shit. It's just his health. His health is to his detriment. I think Jerry's health, regardless, would be to his detriment right now.
Also, it's putting in the fact that Jerry's heart was never into commentary, and he was still that good.
Yeah, that's fine.
But what about Jesse, though?
Jesse was very fun for a certain amount of time. Look, what's the main argument I've used for most people? Versatility. Jesse doesn't have it.
I would disagree with that. I think Jesse Ventura would still be good in this modern day because he can talk. If Jesse Ventura gets put back on commentary,
he'd get lost in the shuffle.
If you take heel Corey Graves commentary and you amp it up to 10, that's Jesse Ventura in a modern audience.
You are crazy. Corey Graves is head and shoulders above.
Amp it up to 10.
That's why we don't need Jesse Ventura, because we have Corey Graves.
Corey Graves is way better than him, in my opinion.
You guys know all the way. Corey Graves is my top commentator of all time. I'm letting you guys know that right now. Before
Cam
we
ain't a
get
huge
there.
fan of Corey Graves.
I like his commentary a lot. I think he's extremely unique. I think he offers a lot.
Hey, we'll
I'm
get
still getting
there.
used to him being on play-by-play, but
We'll get there.
Yes, he's been in the ring. He's now played.
Let's save our let's save it. Let's save it. We'll get there because we are running. This is taking longer than I thought. So we're gonna start. Jerry or Jesse? I mean Jerry clears.
Yeah,
Jerry.
This one is kind of wild. Michael versus Vince. I know it's easily Michael, but Vince should be loved for what he did to the commentary desk.
As
Michael.
a commentator is Michael Cole.
Well, yes,
Michael
I
Cole.
just okay, whatever. We won't even spend no time on it. Fuck you, Vince, and all them women too.
And see, and that's why I said we just need to move on.
all
Because
right.
Michael Cole and Vince, we just got to vote and
All
move
right, all the I feel sorry for all them women, man. Jonathan Coachman versus Wade Barrett. I got the coach. Coach is way better.
No. Listen to me. I loved Coach to death. I think his character was so funny. It was awesome. But at the same time, I actually preferred Coach whenever he was on screen and not just behind commentary. I think Wade Barrett behind commentary is fucking hilarious.
What does Wade bring to the table, though?
I like his sound.
Wade, exactly. Wade is the same thing as Nigel McGuinness. He's literally just a nice sound, and that's because those
Nigel McGuinness with more personality and slightly less charisma.
Okay, that doesn't. How is he better than Coach though? Coach was a character.
Coach because he sounds like a better commentator. Which, by the way, Coach in his last run was really good. It's
Coach,
just they chopped his
yes,
personality.
yes.
I thought he was.
I
Really
loved
fucking
it
good.
when he'd like word of the day while somebody was coming out, and he would say it in the definition and how that applied.
Yeah.
I almost choked him on his tongue.
You deserved it.
Well, fuck, Coach is better than Wade. Wade has done nothing. You want to talk about, Paul Heyman only did it for a year. Wade Barrett been at this for what, 2.5?
Yeah, but
And he hasn't done, he's done nothing noteworthy. Nothing.
Yeah, but you argued against a couple people here that not being versatile is an issue. Jonathan Coachman on commentary, sure, you could say he's versatile because this last run he was very more serious, and obviously the earlier one he wasn't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Wade Barrett he's really showing out, man.
But he's done, well, how? He's done nothing different. He's done nothing different.
His comedic timing, his sound, like I said, I love his voice. Wade Barrett's voice is awesome. I just overall think Wade Barrett takes it, but it's not by a lot.
NXT Wade, you brought the versatility. I'm going to go on it. NXT Wade to now Wade, there's literally no difference. If I just clipped his voice,
I think he's more goofy now.
but that's just a slight adjustment. That's not he's taking on. While Jonathan Coachman in 2005, 6, 3, 4, and Jonathan Coachman in 2017 and 18 are two different people. He took on two different roles, and he was great at both of them. That's versatility, while Wade Barrett hasn't done anything different.
You just wasted your breath.
But you said I said it.
Hey, don't
I take your versatility argument away for one reason. Current commentators do not have Vince McMahon in their ear feeding them stuff.
What does that have to do with?
The only reason why I will pick Wade Barrett over Coachman, because you got to remember, at some point, Coach and a lot of them during that time was getting fed lines to make them sound better. So if you got somebody back there who's the computer telling you everything to say to sound better, because listen to what you said. You compared Coachman from one era to the other era and how different they are. You said Wade Barrett ain't no different than what he was then. So you're going to take consistency and somebody who has now become something better and who is better on the panels and pre-shows than Coachman.
Okay.
Coach was way too much of a character for me, is why I didn't like him.
Hmm.
That word of the day shit to me was stupid.
I didn't think.
I'm like, I am not in elementary school. I do not need you
Hold
to
on.
give me the
Can
word
I
of the
interject right
day.
quick? I can ask you a question. Do you watch? And this is an insult. Do you watch? I don't think you watch sports that often, do you?
I do watch other sports, but mostly combat sports. and
Okay,
some
so
other crazy
from
shit.
a person who watches basketball, football, I appreciated that commentary because it made it feel like a more sports-oriented show. And also, I want to do a quick rebuttal. You the feeding lines. You don't want to open up that can of worms because if we did, Vince McMahon would be moving on and not Michael Cole because Vince McMahon was Michael Cole just through a different microphone. If we're talking like that, JR sure as hell would not be moving on whatsoever.
Okay, fair enough. But
I think Michael Cole's
I don't think we should put the feeding lines. That's just not fair because of all the different companies that are being represented here.
We also don't have a whole lot of
Vince's commentary today. It wouldn't work.
All right, Bo. All right. I got you, Bo. What'd you say?
Okay.
You're good.
We really don't have any proof. None of us have been behind the desk.
Exactly. You don't. Let's not open up that can of worms. You know.
You were absolutely right.
My main, because he said versatility. I'm saying we haven't seen Michael. I mean, Wade hasn't done anything noteworthy, while Coach has. Coach was so good, he went to ESPN.
I brought up the versatility as a positive for Coach.
I know.
I was saying as a negative for Wade.
I got
you. Listen. You got me thinking really hard about his return run, and as short as it was, I enjoyed it so much.
I think everyone did.
I can't sway, but I will say I got to go in the middle. So y'all got to rock paper scissors on this one.
I got the coin. I mean, and he'd still be with us today if Vince and the WWE didn't fuck him.
Yeah, that's true.
And he'd be doing a fantastic job. Him and Pat would be awesome together, clashing.
Why are we flipping a coin? I thought Coach was going through.
Because he couldn't sway me, but the return.
I swayed him to a neutral.
I have to go neutral on it because that return run really was like. Because I agree. I thought he was too much of a character before. It played its role really, really well in certain moments, but I preferred him on screen than just in my ear. I think that return run, that's what really solidifies, like, I can't decide on this one.
Yes, and him and Booker were magical, and him and all three of them were magical.
Yeah. Wade has a lot more help, though. Coachman stands on his own. Wade Barrett.
Exactly. But we did also say we're not bringing in other things. That's why Mauro got the axe. But it is noteworthy. So are you sticking with Wade? Do we have to flip this coin? We can flip this coin. I could.
Wait, so what are the
Wade Barrett.
Oh yeah, Mikey's here. But
Barrett 10 years ago, if he still is good.
Okay. What Mikey's here. Mikey knows both. But if he has to use what he's heard from Coach on Madden, then we're gonna have to use it.
No. But man, honestly, I'm gonna go Wade because I'd rather see Jonathan Coachman getting roasted by The Rock backstage.
That's okay. I'd rather see Wade Barrett get his ass whooped by John Cena. Come on. I mean, what kind? Come on, man.
Well, it looks like Wade's going through. So
that's so dumb. What fucking Wade? I shouldn't even put him in here. Oh, Eric Bischoff and Josh Matthews.
Josh Matthews. Eric Bischoff was a good commentator, but he was way better as an on-screen talent.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot.
Eric Bischoff was one of the greatest villains in non-wrestling in the ring history, and it's bar none. He's almost Vince level. Obviously not there. No one's Vince on screen as a villain, but when you put him strictly on commentary because that's where he started, no, I think Josh Matthews takes it.
I don't think him being great on screen takes away from what he did on the desk. I don't even think it applies.
I don't think he was that good on the desk. I think he was very bland.
I do. I think of Josh Matthews. When I think of Josh Matthews, I think of the dying days of whatever he was on.
That's fair.
SmackDown?
Fair.
Raps.
So
Impact raps.
The commentary is because at one point, like you said, wasn't Eric Bischoff really put on commentary just to turn heel with the NWO? Like,
he was on.
Like I will say this: Eric Bischoff and Bobby Heenan were really fun.
That's what I'm saying, man.
So you got a point.
Also, Halloween Havoc, Eric Bischoff was always a lot of fun.
I gotta swing Eric because heel Eric on commentary was really. It's whenever he started actually showing personality.
That's what I
He
was.
wasn't like because
That was gonna be my
honestly,
argument.
Eric Bischoff was very Michael Cole at when he started
Yeah.
That was gonna be my argument.
And yeah, so I think go ahead and do that.
All
Also,
right.
I will say that Eric Bischoff is more actual commentating as opposed to Josh Matthews. A lot of his
Ugh,
work, like you
poor-
were saying, is on the dying days
Poor
and stuff.
Josh.
And he wasn't even good in TNA until he like started to.
Until right before he got
Like,
canned.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And it's like, but I don't know. I don't know. Josh Matthews is okay. Like he's not. I don't think he's bad. But Josh Matthews is like the commentator when it's like, okay, we got Tony Schiavone, we got Jim Ross, we got all the rest of these people. Let's pick. And then you're like, all right,
Yeah.
who's remaining?
Yeah. But Eric Bischoff,
Josh
man,
is
just
out
better,
there.
man.
Let's hire him.
Yeah. Next one is Corey
He's
Graves
like-
versus. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was about to say Josh Matthews is the one that you get when you're like, okay, do we have anybody to do these last couple of shows? We get a new
Damn.
commentator?
Yeah.
Corey Graves and Larry Zbyszko is going to be juicy. I know where Cam lies, so we don't even got to ask him.
Wait, what? I don't even hate Corey. I love Corey.
Yes, but already on this show, you showed hella love to Larry Zbyszko at the
I
beginning,
love Larry
and then when we said something about Corey, you were like, "So what do you
Oh, wait,
mean?"
pause. So why don't you like Corey Graves?
I don't dislike Corey. I think Corey's very great. I've always said nothing but praise for Corey. I just think Larry Zbyszko's so good. I think
Okay.
Larry
Hold on
Zbyszko
now.
is so good.
Let's not
think
let's
Larry
not
Zbyszko-
fib. Let's not fib. Let's
I
not.
like Larry Zbyszko because
Yeah.
he's more of a character.
Yes.
He brought life to commentary.
Yes.
Corey
Mhm.
had his moments. I love heel Corey so much. Heel Corey Graves is so goated. I love heel Corey Graves. But
Mhm.
also that happened during an era where obviously Vince was at his worst about being in people's ear. So he always felt held back to me. I guarantee if we got a heel Corey Graves now, it would slap so hard. But
Well, he
Larry
was heel for a little
Zbyszko,
bit.
Yeah.
timeless voice, timeless personality. I really enjoy Larry Zbyszko.
Okay. I'm gonna go with my Corey Graves argument here. I know what you said about everybody. He felt held back, but even then, he still felt totally. It felt like, and I always said this about Corey Graves, specifically when it came to main roster. NXT Corey, I didn't feel this way because NXT Corey was still good, but it didn't. When you hear what I'm about to say, you'll understand.
Him calling Shinsuke's matches was really great.
Yes. When he was on commentary, it felt like he was the one that can actually say anything because he would say
fair.
anything. And if anybody fucked up, he would be the first to fucking call you on it. If Michael Cole got a move wrong, he's getting dogged. If Booker T got a move wrong, he getting double dogged. If somebody in the ring screwed up, he is calling it out. He felt real. When, I swear to God, when Titus O'Neil, the greatest thing about Titus O'Neil falling under the ring is Corey Graves. He is cackling. He is dying. He can't even talk.
Y'all didn't swing me, but the one thing that did just popped in my head. I didn't even take into account the whole Byron Saxton dynamic.
Yes, I was about to get into it. Yes.
Yeah.
The best thing about JBL,
That's legendary stuff.
the best thing about JBL, Corey carried it on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Byron Saxton's Twitter handle. I don't know if it was at the time was "Shut Up Saxton," which was
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it said.
which was Corey's catchphase. That's how.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So,
And by the
I
way,
will
when
say
Raw and
this.
SmackDown would do a work together show, Corey, or if JBL and Corey were on the set, they would get along like buddies on commentary, and it would be they even did it for Raw 30. Or no, when Baron Corbin was doing his thing with JBL would come and do commentary with Kevin and Corey. Dude, they would just double roast Kevin Patrick, and it was just the greatest thing ever. I'm going Corey. I love Larry. I
I'll
put
go
Larry
Corey.
on this list because I love him so much. But
Corey's got some legendary stuff.
yes, and that's
There we go.
and honestly, and this is where Larry was awesome. He also was very similar to Bobby, to where
Yeah.
if you don't have Larry, I mean, you still got Bobby. There's several times on commentary where you can't even tell them apart.
Yeah, because they're so similar. that's also why I said earlier that I really did prefer and I loved Larry Zbyszko as like an authority figure because he gave no shits, and that I felt like he thrived more there, especially because that was the time where Bobby Heenan was still going.
Yes.
And in a era where Bobby Heenan is on commentary, especially likely in the same place that Larry Zbyszko is, there's no need for Larry Zbyszko on commentary.
Yes. So for me, that Corey Graves got to, and plus Corey Graves is the most consistent commentator besides Michael Cole right now. I'm sorry, he is.